Hello everyone, I'm the Grim Reader. I have 3 terrifying personal ghost stories. So sit back, enjoy, and let the horror begin. I wanted to start off by saying I believe in the paranormal. I had done so from a very young age. I come from Denmark, and so this story takes off when I was very young, about 10 years or so. I lived with my mom and my 3 sisters and my mom's new boyfriend. I remember that our house was very small and didn't have a lot of rooms. It had I remember 3 rooms upstairs, including the living room, and it had a room in the basement that we had to make. And then in the end of our living room there was a small space that could be turned into a room, which we did. And so we put up a wall and made it to a little room that I shared with one of my big sisters at the time. So I remember my encounter with this entity. I was lying in my bed in the middle of the night. I woke up for some reason, and I was lying there on my back, and I had my head turned to the door. It was a small doorway covered with a blanket or so, and my sister was lying in her bed about 2 meters from me. And as I was lying there, I just awoke, and about 10 seconds, then I turned my head backwards, and I saw this big shadow figure going out of the room. And I mean, it was tall, like 2 meters tall at most, and it was thin, very skinny. All I could see was black, and I could definitely see a head, a torso, arms, legs, everything, but it was black. And it was in the middle of the night, so I could see the moon was lighting from the outside in our living room window, so I could see a little light, and that's how I saw him walking out the room. And I got very, very scared. So I lay back down, I looked up, and I was scared as hell. Then I said to myself, man up and just sit up and look back. There's nothing there. Come on, you can do this. And I embraced the courage. And then I sat up and turned my head very quickly to look at the doorway. And there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. The black dark figure was gone. I got so scared, I lay back in my bed. I don't remember if I tucked the blanket over my head or what, but I got very, very scared. So I just wanted to go back to sleep and just not believing it. Then, for a very long time after that, I did not know what to think. I was like, did I just see a ghost? I didn't knew much about ghosts back then, but I was thinking about it. I was like, nah, ghost doesn't exist, you know. But as I got older, I was like, well, it makes sense. I should say that my mom's boyfriend at the time, he was about 2 meters tall and skinny, and so the height matched, I remembered. But I asked him if he was in my room during that time, and he said no, he was asleep. Then I asked my mom, because I thought he was lying to me. My mom said no, they were lying together in the bed. She remembered. And I was like, okay, well, sounds fishy, because for a long time I actually thought that my mom's boyfriend went into my room where me and my sister was lying. And it was so creepy because it was in the middle of the night, and what the hell was he doing in our room, you know? But then I just kept thinking back to that very moment that I was lying there, looking back, and saw this tall, dark figure walk out of the room. No human features, except for it looked like a person, but there was no face, there was nothing. Probably because he had the back turned back against me. But it was creepy, and the more I think about it, the more I know that what I saw that day was definitely a ghost. So this story takes off when I was about 10 years older, about 2021. I was living with my father and his girlfriend, and we were moving into a new house in a small town, and that the previous owner had moved out and lived in another place. It was an old shop, and my father was a tattooist at the time, but he had to stop because of problems with his hands. Anyway, as we were moving in, I grabbed a box from the truck and had my back turned against one of the doors in the backyard. And I turned around and I saw this woman, all dressed in a long white dress with long red/orange hair. And I saw her walk from right to left in the doorway, slow, but not slow motion. But she was walking very slow, and I just looked at her thinking, who the hell is that? I've never seen that woman before in my life. What is she doing in our new house? And I should say that just next to the door there was a little window that sat above about 10 centimeters over ground, and there was 3 steps from the door to the window leading up to a small bathroom. And I was looking for her feet, but they wasn't there. I never saw her feet coming, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? What did I just see? Another ghost? So, of course, I asked my father about this, and he was like, no, there's no one here, except us. And I remember I was thinking, you're kidding me. So I asked about the previous owners, and he said, no, they moved out. They didn't die there. Nobody has died there. And I was thinking to myself, well, that can't be true. Something definitely happened here. I know it. But that was not the only experience I had in that house. Many other things happened. Like, I could feel a cold breeze, or when I was in the shower, the water would suddenly turn cold, then steaming hot, then normal. And I never found anything about that woman. So this story takes off a couple of years after the white woman incident, and I was living with my at that time girlfriend, now wife, in a small house in Denmark, and we just moved in and lived in that house for a couple of months, I think. And all of a sudden I was home alone. She was at school. When I was watching TV, and then I looked outside the window that was in front of me. And at the top right corner of the window, I saw a black mass and 2 big red eyes glowing and staring at me. As I noticed them, they suddenly went away. Not disappeared, they just went away, you know? And I was sitting there completely stunned and didn't know how to react. I was like, the fuck? What was that? And my girlfriend and I had talked a lot about things, and she's a believer in the paranormal as well. And we talked about some ghost incidents and before this happened, and we have both experienced something in the house, like cold breeze or cold spots, things being moved or hearing noises, and there was nothing. Then I saw this, and I must say I did not feel a ghost present more demonic. It was evil and ice cold. As I saw the black mass turn away, I was, as I said, completely stunned, unable to move. I just sat there, staring at the window, waiting for it to come back. But it didn't. Nothing else happened during that day. Some time later, I experienced something else. I was walking from the living room to the kitchen, and there was a big opening from the living room to the kitchen. It was not a door. It was a big opening, and as I walked to the kitchen, I noticed I stopped in the doorway, and I noticed something at the corner of my eye. There was something in the window right beside me. We had a big window in our kitchen, and it was the corner of my left eye. I stood there for a couple of seconds, then I turned my head and I saw a figure. I don't know if it was a man, or if it was a demon, or if it simply was a ghost. But it looked like the man. But it had this demonic feel to it. So I believe it was the demon. And it turned. I know it was standing there, looking inside, looking at me. But as I turned my head, noticing it, it turned away, but in a very weird way. Instead of going back, like scuffling, it like turned in a half circle away from the window and out of sight. I stood there trying to figure out what in the world just happened. I had no explanation. I still don't. All I know that I saw something. I told it to my girlfriend, and she was completely freaked out as well. Who on earth was looking at me? From my kitchen window and from my living room window. After that incident, we continued to hear strange things in the house, like knocking or somebody walking upstairs when we were both downstairs. And we could both feel something sinister, weird, and evil in the house. We did not stay in the house for very long because those big red eyes continued to haunt me. It was scary, freaky as fuck, and I was trying to wrap my mind around it, but I just had no explanation of what that was. All I know that it was not some mere ghost. I'm pretty sure it was a demon looking at me from the right corner, top right corner at my living room window, and at the bottom left corner at my kitchen window. The thing in my living room window was that it was not a complete figure. It was what you can say, not a complete head, but like a big mass, big black mass. Not like a blob, but like a fog-ish, and those red eyes staring directly at me. The thing in the kitchen, or at the kitchen window, I must say, was definitely a humanoid figure. I believe that the demon was manifesting itself, showing itself to me, revealing its entire presence, just to show me him for a brief second, just to let me know that he was there. watching us, living with us. Luckily, we moved out before anything else could happen, and we experienced some other things, but nothing like this one. This was completely dark and sinister and evil. The feeling in the house, the air, it was everything. You can feel it all around you, the evil presence. As I was saying, luckily we moved out before anything happened, and I do not dare thinking about what would have happened if we actually continued to stay in that house. So there you have it, 3 scary ghost stories from my personal life. All of these 3 stories, it did happen to me. I can assure they're 100% real. I know there are people out there who doesn't believe in ghosts, and you're welcome to not believe in them. But I can say that this actually, it did happen to me, and I have no explanation for those events. And I know there are people out there who do believe, and for those who believe in me, thank you. And I know what you're going through, trust me, if you have experienced any kind of event like these. This is my first narration video. I listen to a lot on YouTube, and I really think they are amazing and exciting. So I hope you all will tune in for my other content that will be in the future. If you would like to see or hear more of this, then you leave a like or a comment. You're welcome to subscribe also. I hope you all will embrace this video, and I'll see you in the future.